Hi, this is Minter Chen. I'm going to show you step by step how you get started with the first database assignment, how to set up the sample database under MySQL Workbench, and how you load up the startup SQL script file and start working on it, save it, and submit it. So let's do it. If you go to Canvas under Module, you will find this first assignment, and this is a PDF file tell you what to do in detail. And then I also prepared a startup file. Okay, so let me download this startup file first. Okay, it will go to your download folder, which I have, and then allow me to just download the SQL script that will create the sample database called MyGuitarShop. So this is the one that would create the database for us if you haven't done so. There's 3 testing scripts working against this MyGuitarShop, so let's just download it as well. Okay, make sure it's kind of downloaded. It will pop up. There is a kind of data model, extended entity relationship diagram, which will show you the MyGuitarShop's database data model, which has been done for you. So let's also get this one ready. So we got pretty much everything we need. So let's switch to MySQL Workbench. Okay. Allow me to call on MySQL Workbench. You need to know how to bring up MySQL Workbench because this is the tool we're going to use primarily in this course. And there's a few database connection that has been created previously, and typically we'll choose the first one. That's kind of the default setting, and if you've done everything so far in terms of even creating a database, it will be in this in this particular database called local instance. I have another one for the account payable database by itself. So let's just come here. You do need to know your administrative password to MySQL Server. This you set it when you install MySQL Server, okay, which is different than MySQL Workbench. MySQL Workbench, I don't think there's a password, but when you need to connect to the database, you need a password that you set when you install MySQL Server. Workbench is just a tool for you to work with various database under MySQL Server. I know mine, so I'm getting in. Okay, I will just ignore because somehow I made quit the system without saving some of my work. So I'm going to just say ignore. And you're going to see a few database under schema. I think like this OM, not OM, the system. There's a video database that may be there. I do have my Guitar Shop installed already, but I'm going to remove it so we can start clean like in your setting if you haven't done so. So I'm going to drop the schema. Schema just means a particular database. The one that I highlighted, I'll just say drop now. So now how we can how can we create the MyGuitarShop database? We will use the database creation script that we have downloaded. Most likely it will be in your download folder. This is where that is. And this is the one. I probably have another version, so when they download the send file again, they add this one to the file name. It will be still the same. So I'm going to bring up this create myguitarshop.sql. So this is a script to create the database. It's very long, including not just creating the table, the relationship among the table, but also the actual sample data for various table. And so we can just basically click. I think we can just not put our cursor on any line and just say run. Okay, allow me to clear this message area so we can see what's going on. Wow, so there's about 19 SQL statement has been run and they're all successful. Okay, and so the database has been created. The database, if you really look at it, it's called MyGuitarShop shop, and we are actually using it. Then we're creating table whatsoever. We will learn how to create a database from scratch using SQL create statement, insert statement, etc. But not now. Okay, and we're not seeing here. You need to click this icon here to refresh. Now here's the My Guitar shop. Double click. Okay. If you've done it properly, the schema name, the database name, would turn to boldface. That means this is the default database. Okay. And you can certainly also do something. Click right mouse button on top of this schema name, and then I think the second choice called set as default schema. Then you will set it as a default database. So there's two ways to do it. Double click would do the trick. Now we would run some of the testing script. Okay, this is in your download folder. Okay, you can put it in a separate folder, create a new folder, put it all in there, so it's much more organized instead of mixing with other downloaded file. To save time, I'm just leave it as it is, where they are. So let's just do product detail. Let me go backtrack. Okay, I would say open script. Then I would just say product detail. So that's a new SQL file that we loaded, which is a sample program. You can highlight the whole thing and say run, or maybe you click anywhere in the script and say run. These two are similar, but this one can run multiple scripts. Okay, this lightning bolt. There's a lightning bolt with T. They only run the SQL statement where your cursor is. Okay. So we're getting it. You're seeing the result, and you need to double check the result to see whether there seems to be reasonable. And also you can look at the output area, which show you the error message or the outcome. Okay, not the data itself. Data is here in this middle panel area. So let's run it again. Okay, so here there was a 10 row has been retrieved. Okay, and then there's 10 row. You can limit how many row will be retrieved. Default is 1000, but you can make it bigger or smaller. Um, okay, so I'm not going to test the other three testing sample SQL statement, but just show you a little bit what may go wrong. If I switch the default database to another one, like this AP, account payable database, now if I run the same script, okay, this time I'm going to choose this, it doesn't work. Give you a message and say that the table AP dot product is does not exist. Let me just get it back in. Uh, this error message sometimes a little bit too small to read, so I can highlight it, say copy respond. I will paste it temporarily just for your convenience. They say table ap.product doesn't exist because the default database is AP, which we don't have a product table. Okay, so to fix it, we can certainly set the default database back to these MyGuitarShop shop, but we can also say something like this: use my guitar shop semicolon. This will set the default database through SQL instruction called use. Okay. In that case, if we run both, or run this first and then run this one, so in this case, we're going to just run together. Then it worked as before. Okay. So now we know how to run a SQL script, how to load a script, how to run it. So with that, then how we get started with our first assignment. You definitely need to read the PDF file which describes the assignment, the nature of the assignment, what are the requirements, which is here. The chapter, there's two parts. The chapter 2 part is really just get you familiar with it, set things up. There's nothing you need to submit through SQL script file. But for the chapter 3, there's a startup script which kind of help you to get started. So it's already organized in the format that I want it to be done. So we have downloaded. So let's go to, it's in the download folder, and we can open a script from here. That's what we have been doing, or we can click this folder under this SQL script editor. It's in the download area, and the startup file is here. Okay. Before I load it, it may be a good idea to rename it as described in the document. Your last name and first name. And maybe you can just say assignment 1 or chapter 3. Okay. Make sure the file extension is still .sql. And by the way, this file is a pure editor. If you have a pure editor editing tool which can read a pure text file, you can read it. Okay, but you just cannot run it in that text editor. So we got this one. Let me show you just very quickly what may go wrong. Assuming you finish it, you save it, you even submit it to Canvas, and then you want to see, did I submit the right version? Let me download it from Canvas, and then let me run it and see whether that will work. Okay, and let's assume this is the one you downloaded. Okay, if you just double click, by the way, that save statement was referring to the one I was working on. I haven't saved it. So anyway, so I'm loading this one up. Let me think about it. Okay, this will work. Okay, first of all, it say use my guitar shop, so it will work because I'm seeing my guitar shop. So, but if I'm here, if I run it, the query one has been done for you, so you don't have to do it. It works well. Um, but let me close the workbench, okay, and show you what may go wrong. If I come back to download area, assuming this is the one startup file that you downloaded, whether this is the one you finished or the one you downloaded as given by the instructor. If you double click, let me see, is it coming out? Okay. If you double click, the system node.sql should use MySQL Workbench. So they load up the MySQL Workbench. Okay. So you are seeing the same script, startup script file. You're seeing like use my guitar shop. So let me run this. It won't work. Okay. If you try to run this, it's not going to work. Okay. What happened is here, if you look at the schema, there's no database right now in the schema. Okay. The reason is that when we called up the MySQL Workbench, we did not connect to any database. So we may need to do this to fix that. And by the way, it is possible you can actually load the My Guitar Workshop and create the database here. I think that will work. But let's assume that database has been created under your local instance. Now, how can we get that? If you go to home over here, this is the local instance we've been working on. So you would just connect like typically what you would do. Okay, so let's see. So we do have My Guitar Workshop, but we may, although we loaded, let me try to get around. Yeah, this is the one we open, but it's still not connecting to the database. However, if you look at the tab here, this is the one that have My Guitar Shop. So what you can do now is actually open it from here where you have My Guitar Shop installed. Okay, then it will work. So you should say open, go to my download, and then go to this startup file. Okay, let's just say save. I probably has created something which I haven't saved, so they want me. Let's see. I think this is the one. This one. Let me just close it. I'm not going to save it. I don't need it. Let me just open. I'm going to open the startup file under download or whatever, wherever the folder that you have it. Okay, let me just save it. Okay, this may be another version. I'm just going to oh, sorry, test already exists. I'm going to use test 2. Okay, so now this is the one you should work on for your first assignment, and you would just write your answers. For instance, this is like retrieve customer name from customer table and do the following thing. So you will write your SQL statement. Okay, select whatever, and when you finish, select from where. So you say retrieve customer name from customer table. Okay, we'll do it just a little bit. Okay, you will find the customer table and you'll find the column name. So they say select customer name. By the way, this is not the official column name for the customers in the customer table. If you look at it, we do have first name, last name. That's the actual column name. So here, if you look at it, you say last name concatenate with comma, space, and then the first name as a full name. So we're going to just say, for instance, last name. Let's do a simple one. First name. Okay. And let's see what else. From the customer table, you may notice I'm just clicking on the column name or table name to enter it in my SQL statement. That you can avoid unnecessary typing error, but make sure your cursor is where you want it to be. Oops. Let me see whether that works. Okay. Yeah, you just need to double click a little bit quicker. Okay. And I don't think there's, oh, there is a condition. The last name begin with letter from M to Z. So there is a criteria, weird condition filter, whatever you call it. So the last name, okay, begin with letter from M to Z. So we're going to come to the customer table, get the last name. Okay, I don't really need customers, the table name here, because it's a single table query. I would just say it's greater equal to, I think Z, M will work. Okay. So it's starting from M and all the way to Z will meet the criteria. And we're done. So use a semicolon. And so for this one, you can just click it, and they will give you this. Okay. Give you this information. First, double check when the last name started with something M or to Z. If that's not the case, you've probably done something wrong. You may even want to go to customer table like here and look at the whole table. Click the third icon here and go over student customer's name. It's not a lot of data, so you can just look at it. We intentionally make the sample data in each table small, so you can almost manually or visually checking your SQL result against what you see in the actual database. Okay. For database development, start with a small sample data set can be very helpful in terms of assess the outcome against what you intended to do. So we're done. Once you're done, you would save this. You would make sure you're here. Make sure you save this document. Sometimes you may want to save a different version over time, because if you work on it over several days, and then you may want to have version 1, version 2, just in case you mess up some new version, you have something to fall back to. So you can just say save to save the up-to-date version, okay, or save as, so you can save another version. In this case, download, but you may want to put it in a specific folder, so you can just say that's my final version, or version 2. And that's the version you will submit through the learning management system, which is Canvas. Submit it. But do remember, if you download it and just double click on the file, they will open it up without any connection to any database, so it won't run. Okay, and we demonstrated how you should, how that can be run, and that's how I'm going to test your script that you submitted. Okay, I think that's all. So good luck working on the first assignment. The second assignment has been out there as well. We went over that in the class last time. So if you finish assignment 1, you should start working on assignment 2. Assignment 2 also use the same database, so the setup will be the same. So good luck and have fun.